welcome, Devil Sniper here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 3 of our career mode with West Ham United. We're going to start off in a nice methodical fashion. We're going to have a good look at the calendar, our fixture lists, all the way up to round about the end of December, so we get a good feeling what we have in the first part of the season, and then of course, come the January window, we'll have a look at the fixture list again, and then we'll see what we have going into the latter part of the season, because hopefully come December, we're going to be fighting on a couple of fronts. As you know, the FA Cup starts at the beginning of December. Hopefully we'll have a good start to the FA Cup. Hopefully by that time we're still in a Capital One Cup, and hopefully we are still pressing hard in the BPL. Up there in the top 6 would be absolutely fantastic. So we're going to start the season off on the 17th of August with a home game against Sunderland. That is going to be a tough game, and a game that I'm looking forward to starting the season off. We then follow that up with, again, a home game against QPR. Back-to-back home games is absolutely fantastic in my personal opinion. 2 home games for the fans is just absolutely brilliant. We follow that up, obviously, as you would have seen, with an away game to Newcastle before the January window shuts. We then move into September. Obviously, there should be a cup game in September if we're playing well in the cup. But of course, if we're not, we've got Everton, Villa, and Watford, which would be, to be fair, that's 3 tough fixtures. We then move into October, and as you can see, that is going to be an interesting month. We've got Wigan, Stoke, Hull, and I believe Chelsea to finish the month off. That's going to be quite a tough month. But today we are going to stick our feet into the boiling hot water. That is the transfer window. Yes, we're going to start having a look at a few players. Some great recommendations. Really interested to see that people were thinking, you know, let's go and get Songy. Let's go and get him back from Barcelona. Bring him back to the club because his loan deal is finished. And he had a great season last season from all the reports that I've seen and from the actual games I actually saw last season. As you know, Big Sam was still in charge in season number 1. I took over in season number 2. Also, a lot of people wanted me to go and get Cole Jenkinson, because he was a solid right back and he'd done a fantastic job. And you would have seen there, I pinpointed the 21st of November. That is a massive game. The 21st of November is a massive, massive game. A must-win in my personal opinion. December does not look friendly at all. Palace, Liverpool, Arsenal, City and West Bromwich Albion. That is not a friendly month in any way, shape or form at all. That's going to be a tough month. Should hopefully be an exciting month. And I'm looking forward to getting into December and still fighting on a couple of fronts. It'll be fantastic. So the shortlist at the moment looks like that. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. There's a few players in there that really do interest me. Now, Adam Matthews, as you know, he plays for Celtic currently, 23 years old, Welshman who plays right back, valued between 2.6 and 3.2 million pounds. Well, I don't really want to pay 3.2 mil. If I can keep it under 2.6, I'll be extremely happy. So we're going to put 1.5 in. I know it's a bit of a cheeky bid, but at the end of the day, his contract is expiring in sort of 12, 11 months. So hopefully we'll be able to do some business. Now, Arsenal evaluating Jenkinson at 4.9 to 7.1. I'm going to go in there and punt in 3.5 million, which I think is a decent amount of money. Obviously, Barcelona always want big money for their players. Understandably, they're a big club. Now, they value Songy between 9.9 and 11.1 million. I'm going to go in, and it's to me, 9 million is a huge fee. You know, he does earn a lot of money. We're going to be talking 120 grand a week on top of his transfer fee. If we can get him for 9 million quid, that really will be some deal. If we can't, we're just going to have to work around it, see what we can do. Now, Mbolo. The boy looks fantastic. He is 18. I was very sceptical about making an approach for him because I feel he's young. Do I feel he has the ability to settle into the Premier League? I don't honestly know, but I think he's too much of a talent to not have a punt at. So we are going to have a punt. Hopefully we'll be able to pick him up on the cheap, but we'll have to see how that pans out. Now, Arsenal have come back and said, bish, bash, bosh, my son. 6 million quid is what we want for Jenko. 6 million quid is just a ridiculous amount of money. And at this moment, Basel are just not entertaining us when it comes to Mbolo, which is understandable. He's a hot talent. They want to keep hold of their hot talent, but they know at some point they're going to have to relinquish that talent. So hopefully we'll be able to worm our way in. And as you would have seen, Barca came back and said, you know what, you want Songy, even though we loaned him to you, and even though we do have a good working relationship with the club and the board, we still want £10.5 million, which is a huge amount of money. So I go back to Basel, obviously up my offer to 3.5. Celtic in the meantime come back and say, do you know what, you want Matthews? You're having a laugh. You're absolutely having a bubble, son. You've got no chance. That figure is way too low. We're not entertaining you. Go and jog on, which is really disappointing, but I'm not going to be put off. I feel that 6 million is way too much out of our budget for Jenkinson. As much as I would love Jenkinson, even if I could knock them down from that 6 million, which I don't believe I can, I would think you know, paying round about maximum 3 million would be absolutely spot on. So if we can pick up Matthews for 2.4, I'm quids in. Now, of course, Basel come back and they knocked me back with a £6 million. £6 million. That is a huge chunk of change for a lad who is only 18 years old. I know we can invest in him, and I know he's a player for the future, but £6 million is a huge outlay at this stage of my career at West Ham to lay out on an 18-year-old. So at this moment in time, we might be put off from that deal and have to have a look somewhere else, to be honest. And you would have seen that we had an offer in from Norwich for Mark Noble. Now, I did take a little while to obviously reject the offer, and that's predominantly because I love Mark Noble. This the only way I can describe him. He's just magnificent. He really is one of the best players, I think, in the Barclays Premier League, in my personal opinion. Obviously, some of you may disagree, but I think he's absolutely sensational. The boy is just majestic, and I would never, ever dream of selling him. He will play until he dies at the club, in my personal opinion. But we're going to move on to, of course, the scouts, and we're going to send them off to quite a few different nations. Have some fun with this. There was a great recommendation, of course, England, Brazil, and the final one was Australia. And guess what? I went with England, Brazil, and Australia. Damn right, why not? Have a bit of fun. Hopefully we'll bring back some Aussie talent. You never know, might find the next Tim Cahill. We might find the next Harry Kewell. You just don't know. Or Viduka, Mark Viduka. You never know. We might find a fantastic piece of talent out of Australia. Hopefully we'll get a decent piece of talent out of Brazil. And you never know, hopefully we'll find a decent piece of talent at home in our beloved England. But I'm definitely going back to Brazil because I know there's lots of hot talent. Now, we do need a replacement goalkeeper because our team is, well, our squad is massively depleted. So Bentley at Southend, to me, it's a no-brainer. He's a good keeper, he's a solid goalkeeper, and he's, you know, he meets the budget, which is cheap, which I like. So we're going to have a little punt on him. Obviously, you would have seen a transfer request for Chiarte. How can I put it politely? Jog on. So Matthews we're being told that Matthews can come to West Ham for £3 million. Now, £3 million is not bad. It's not what I wanted to play at the end of the day. You know, 3.2 was the max, but I will pay £3 million because that's half of what they wanted for Jenko, which is fantastic. So, of course, Southend come back and we can have some excitement. We have signed our first player, as long as he accepts our contract terms. So, hopefully, we won't have any stumbling blocks. Southend we're quite happy with the 600,000. We have a decent working relationship with them. I offer him squad rotation, nothing too exciting, to be honest. But then a shocking email comes into my inbox. Sampdoria have offered 3.8 million to Basel, and they have accepted for Mbolo. 3.8 million? Are they having a bubble? They want me to pay 6.
I used to dream about cars and things, about being a star and things. I thought that